Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tanner Davis and welcome back to another WWE Premium Live Event Predictions video. Today, we will be predicting the 2026 SummerSlam 2-night spectacular live in Minneapolis, Minnesota match card. We're going to welcome the co-host, one half of Double D's, my twin brother, C-Dave. But first, everyone knows it's time to cue that intro.
They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear.
So with the stacked 2-night match card live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, SummerSlam 2026, the second 2-night SummerSlam, I believe, of the last year in New Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey, was the first one, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only one to my recollection. However, it happens during the summer, usually when we're on vacation, so it's hard for me to remember. But we move on to the first match, which is a 6-woman tag match between the members of Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, Laney Reed, and JC Jane versus Brie Bella and Paige and the newly returned Nikki Bella. So we saw it Saturday night's main event live in MSG, New York, which that finale segment had a little bit of mixed reviews, but that's neither here nor there. Paige and Brie Bella ended up dropping the titles to Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, and Laney Reed. And you can only imagine, well, what's going to happen to JC Jane? She going to go for a title? Maybe. We're going to see. C-Dave. Because of that match at Saturday night's main event, with Laney Reed and Fallon Henley picking up the dub, and therefore gaining the titles, the Women's Tag Team Championships. Who do you have winning this match? Nikki Bella obviously returning. Last SmackDown, well, not the go-home show, but the SmackDown before the go-home show. I don't know when this is going to go out. Definitely, hopefully, before Saturday. Fingers crossed. But who do you have winning the opening match for Saturday in the 6-woman tag? Could you say that match directly influenced I would say we tied so many times and now that streak is over. And finally, C-Dave has won something. And he's going to win this SummerSlam. Not in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because that's not where we reside. But hashtag C-Dave can cook in the comments below, and I'm going to cook with this one. This is not a title match. There's no title influence. I think they probably want to keep the titles on the youngsters. But with that being said, Brie Bella's there, Paige is there, and Nikki Bella is returning. So because of the return, I'm going to give it to the Bella Twins with Paige. They're going to beat Fatal Influence, and then maybe we'll see them kind of go with the titles, whatever they do with the titles. I don't think they do a good job with the tag titles in any division. But my prediction is the Bella Twins and Paige. Yeah, you know, I was thinking a lot whenever I was playing the match, really. I thought it was a no-brainer at first with the Bella Twins and Paige. But as I was kind of getting you in for the prediction, I thought to myself, well, Fatal Influence just won the gold. And even though that Nikki Bella just came off of we could say hot return, I guess. I mean, the crowd kind of went wild. It was nice. Is it enough for them to beat Fatal Influence after coming hot off of a win and winning the tag team championships? I thought yes at first, Nikki Bella returning, but at the same token, what momentum does Nikki Bella need? I mean, it's Nikki Bella. She can go into any match she wants. I mean, you can put her in a championship match tomorrow, and because she's Nikki Bella, all she needs is her name. She's already made a name for herself. She's already a decorated woman, especially a champion of all time. And then you have these Fatal Influence gals, which are just now debuting on the main roster, just now trying to make a name for themselves. And I thought, well, why would you kill that? I stated before, what really kind of twisted my brain is when I said, well, they have the tag titles with Fallon Henley and Laney Reed, but JC Jane really doesn't have anything right now. So what's next for her? And this is exactly it. You win the 6-woman tag match. JC Jane goes after either championship gold, or she gets in a program with a vet like Nikki Bella, and then you submit these girls as a dominant women's faction, a faction within the women's division, and then JC Jane is able to compete for
what would be the Women's United States Championship on SmackDown, maybe against Tiffany Stratton, which we'll get into her match here on the Sunday's card. Yeah, set them up for greatness. My prediction is going to be the team of Fallon Henley, JC Jane, Laney Reed, Fatal Influence. We move on to another six-person tag match. This time it is for the men. The team of LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys taking on Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, Jacob, Fatu. So the Bloodline's back in business, baby. I mean, we've got this for a while, you know. The Bloodline saga continues, 6 years strong. You kind of thought, you know, is everybody leaving Roman in the dust? The Usos were like, you know, blood's thicker than water. And so you look at this tag match, you say, oh my gosh, what is it going to be? You know, it's hard. Is LA Knight going to get into a program with Solo Sikoa or Royce Keys? Are they going to have some problems? They're not going to be as a fluid team as the Bloodline. I mean, to me, it's an easy pick. I'm going with the Bloodline. There's a lot of factors that could happen. Could we see Solo Sikoa turn on his team and join the Bloodline? Could we see Solo Sikoa go with his family? Who knows? Royce Keys, for instance, could have a heel turn. Him and Jacob Fatu have a history together. There's so much history and so much flowing through this story. Maybe not even it. However, a prediction has to be made, and that's going to be in the form of Jacob Fatu and the Usos, the Bloodline.
I think this is a real easy prediction, especially if you're trying to bring that Bloodline prestige up. They want to have something that is pure dominance, like it has been in the past, with tag gold and World Championship gold. And right now, all they have is World Championship gold. So, you bring back the tag prestige, maybe that comes with gold in the future. But I think this is an easy pick. The Bloodline needs that dominance back. They need that reign back that they had before to keep this story going and to keep WWE, you know, a little bit more interesting. And I'll get to what those interesting things could bring about in the future whenever we get to the next coming matches. But my prediction is going to be the Bloodline.
So I made C-Dave change his shirt because I didn't like the way the other one looked on camera. And this is way more fitting for SummerSlam, as we will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Or we won't be, but you know, it will take place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we move on to the next match on the card, which is a very intriguing match. It definitely piques my interest. It's Gunther versus Nick Aldis. And this was kind of thrown at us like as a curveball, 180 out of nowhere, because originally, if you look at last year, even 6 months ago, the original plan was Gunther versus Roman Reigns, I believe, for the World Championship. But then you see Gunther moves to SmackDown for the ratings and challenges Cody Rhodes, and then he's in all this. And so it's like, oh, well, it doesn't really make sense now for Gunther to challenge Roman. So what do? And WWE does what all they do best, and they pivot and make a storyline. And Nick Aldis, Gunther has a problem with Nick Aldis' authority, blaming him for all the losses he's had against Cody Rhodes, costing him the championship because he cannot do his job. Eventually, Gunther puts his hands on Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis does the same because he ain't no punk. And we set up a match for SummerSlam. Unfortunately, due to the nature of the match, because Nick Aldis signed the contract, he is no longer SmackDown GM. So the question remains, if this is going to be a run for Nick Aldis, a one-off match, what is going to happen, and who's going to be the victor here in Minneapolis?
It's going to be a one-off. I think they're comfortable with what Nick Aldis brings to WWE as a general manager. I don't know what he could bring as a performer, because they have different standards. I mean, he's been a world champion in 2 different promotions outside of WWE. And people can say, oh, well, he's done this outside of WWE, but WWE has very specific standards. So maybe Nick Aldis hasn't met those standards until right now, where they're like, hey, let's give him a shot, let's give him a match and see what he can do against Gunther. And you know how good Gunther is against people. But I just think it's going to be a one-off. You know, and it's not so that I can say my whole thing, you know. It's not so I can say my whole thing. I like saying Gunther's thing.
I don't think that's your whole thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody calls him that.
Me so. It's going to be a one-off. Gunther's known as the career killer. You know, what greatness would it be if you said that you could in somebody's career before it even started in WWE. Right? Because of that, I'm going to have to go with you-know-who. Gunther.
I'm still uncertain if this is going to be a one-off or not. I'm leaning towards the side of no. Give him a run. Give Nick Aldis a run. You know, I just saw something that Nick Aldis is younger than Seth Rollins.
And
Seth Rollins is going to be... these guys are in... Both of those guys are in their respective main events of each night of SummerSlam. And this guy is arguably... Well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. He looks a whole lot better than both of those guys. You know, physically, I mean, we really haven't seen him in a while because he's had a suit, but people speculate things, and people out within the WWE who've seen him in the gym and stuff all say that he still looks as good as he did when he was in his prime. But if we get a glimpse of that, if we get a glimpse of Magnus and a prime, if we get just a teeny glimpse, Gunther can take that and crank it up 100 times, 10x it. Because that's how great Gunther is. Gunther can take his opponent and make them work better than they've ever worked a match in their life. This is a one-off. I would lean towards it being a retirement match. However, I see this story playing to where Nick Aldis does have a run. And at the end of the run, he circles back to Gunther, who will retire him. Now, does it make sense for Nick Aldis to start a run with a win? Yes. But considering his opponent is betting it out, it would hurt Gunther more to lose than it would help Nick Aldis to win. Because of that, I'm going to give the win to Gunther. Do it. You're supposed to do it together. Okay.
We ain't got enough space in this.
Yes, I did it perfectly fine. This is a match I'm not overly excited for. I really could care less who wins, who loses. I have a prediction in mind, but we move to the Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. She's finally defending it for the first time since WrestleMania. I think it's been 90 days. The same with Jade Cargill. Had it for 90 days and never defended it. Finally getting to defend the championship. Obviously, Rhea Ripley we throw in there, but due to injury, that's because WWE hasn't done a good job at all with their women's. They've done better booking the women's tag division than they have the singles, but that's not saying much. That's not saying much at all. They've done a terrible. I don't know if it's Booker T. I don't know if it's Triple H booking the matches, but man. I'm just going to go with it. Are we going to see a good match? It may be okay. I think just about every other match on this card is going to be better. I hate to say that because it could really be good. Both of these women, respectively, any given day could put on a good match. Regardless, does it really matter? Does it really matter who wins? Stephanie Vaquer is probably going to come back from injury and win it back anyways. And what's going to be a better match? The one we saw at WrestlePalooza. So I'm going to give it to the Queen of the Sky, Io Sky.
I hate it, right? Been thinking about this one. About which woman's superstar who brings the most to the table, right? In terms of who holds the belt. And that question has been asked and answered correctly and accurately in these past 90 days. Well, it ain't been lived. She ain't done nothing with it, right? So why not give it to somebody who will? And you know Io Sky will be putting on the matches on the Raw, on the SmackDown, on a house show. She will be putting on the matches. It's hard for me to go against Liv Morgan because of our history, you know. But I just have to think about it with like good intention and how somebody smart would think about it. So come here. Come close. Let me hit the Io real quick. My prediction is Io Sky.
Probably the most anticipated match on the card. If I'm not mistaken, it was the first match announced for SummerSlam. Hold on.
And not really, because They technically announce matches whenever they do the King of the Ring.
No, Ova won King of the Ring.
Oh,
Io
and
won
that's
Queen
right.
of the Ring.
Yeah, and so Io's fighting in the championship.
Well, we didn't note that.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
You didn't, but I'm just saying, like, that's usually what they do for SummerSlam.
Okay.
That's what I'm pointing out, that Oba's not.
Well, then,
That's what I'm trying to point out.
yeah, this could have been the first one announced. No, it wasn't. It was Liv and Io. Because, you know, at the end of Queen of the Ring, she said, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, alright.
So,
that's
we forgot to mention, Io's got Queen of the Ring, whatever. The rivalry sucks anyways. The build-up's been bad. It doesn't matter. Oba Femi, the ruler.
Well, let me do this right.
The ruler. Oba Femi taking on the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell, which was one of the first matches that was announced for the card of SummerSlam Minneapolis, Minnesota. And do we want to go back to the clip? I mean, for the people that are new, do we need to roll the clip?
We don't need to roll.
Brock Lesnar, I said, was going to retire in his hometown in Minneapolis, Minnesota, inside SummerSlam against the man himself, Oba Femi. There is a lot of ties to where the first ever two-night SummerSlam and the location, it being in Minneapolis. That has been in my mind where I am thinking that's going to be Brock Lesnar's last match for a while. And who should retire Brock Lesnar? You're thinking, oh, Gunther. Gunther's the pick. However, this match is too good to go one time. And what that's going to lead to is another match down the line, probably SummerSlam, where Oba Femi will retire the man that defeated The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak.
Man, that's been done.
I'm going to keep
everybody should have guessed.
I'm going to keep we got the trilogy. The unfortunate reality is when Brock Lesnar puts his boots in the ring, puts his gloves in the center of the canvas, and waves goodbye with a tear in his eye, as Paul Heyman is sobbing all his money out of his eyes that he's losing his meal ticket. We're gonna shed tears too. Even though I didn't eat Jimmy John's for the longest time. Even though Jimmy John's, oh, I ate you the other day.
He was good.
Oh, it was good.
It was good.
I tried that little toasted sub because they came out. You can get it if you get like one of the special ones. You can get it.
No product
My bad. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my prediction. I don't think there's much explanation. This is the trilogy. WrestleMania, Oba got the win. Clash in Italy, Brock got the win. We moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota live on Saturday night, the Ruler versus the Beast inside Hell in a Cell, with Brock Lesnar putting his undefeated Hell in a Cell match streak on the line. The man that defeated The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak, which we were there, 21-1, has defeated The Undertaker twice inside Hell in a Cell, if that's even relevant, has not lost a match inside of this stipulation, or within the stipulation, but it all comes to an end. Because Brock Lesnar will have his final match within the WWE, and Oba Femi will be one of the greatest rising stars that the company has seen. I guess you could call him the next big thing.
The next Brock Lesnar.
No, the next big thing is, that is a reference to Brock Lesnar.
That's right.
My prediction is, the ruler, Oba Femi.
Man, I'm pretty sure I was supposed to go first. That's okay. Can't gaps too much.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, but I'll put you first. It doesn't matter. I can edit that.
This is an easy decision. Brock Lesnar's unfortunately retiring. He will probably go to I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
He'll be done.
that, right?
Huh?
You have to bleep that.
Oh yeah. Bleep. He's done. Oba's gonna retire him. But I want to do my best Oba impression because I like to do my impressions around here. Oba Femi, this one's for you. Brock Lesnar!
That's terrible. It's not KSI.
No, that was not British at all.
What do you mean? I'm not British.
What do you mean? I am not stuck in this cage with you. You are stuck in this cage with me. The ruler wins this match. And my prediction is going to be Oba Femi.
We move on to the main event of Saturday night live in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the undisputed WWE Championship. The current champion CM Punk taking on Cody Rhodes. It's the best in the world versus the American Nightmare, and unfortunately Sami Zayn got booted out of this after winning the championship in a triple threat. CM Punk comes home to Chicago, Illinois. When a championship opportunity falls from the sky and lands in your hands, you gotta make the most of it. That's exactly what the Second City Saint did, but the question remains, who is going to win?
Yeah, there ain't much build up with this, so there ain't much you gotta explain.
It is a good bit of build up.
Yeah. Big stuff for it.
Cody wins his title. CM Punk comes out and says, well, maybe one day I'm gonna, we're gonna have a little something, shebanga-dang-a-lang-a-dang.
Same beats Gunther and Cody. And
then he says, you never know. But this was, I don't even know, this was when Cody lost it, I think, to Drew. I can't even remember. But, speaking of that, speaking of Drew McIntyre.
No, be so British on the movie.
Is he though?
Oh, is he?
Oh, is he though? Is he though? This is a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people. I haven't seen anything about this. But I was just thinking the other day. I was on Snapchat. They have these topics where you can chat with other people. There's a WWE one. I've been chatting with people, and then I thought while I was chatting, I was thinking of the match, and I was like, I have no clue who I'm gonna pick. And I thought of it.
Who do you think?
CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. My prediction is going to be, I don't know yet, but I will explain what I think is going to happen. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes will have a magnificent match. I mean, each one of them could have a match with a paper bag and it'd be good. The build-up's been pretty good. The promos have been, not terrible at all either. Regardless of how the match goes, what I think is going to come to it at the end of the day is we're going to see a return of the Scottish Warrior, the Scottish Psychopath, Drew McIntyre. And now, do I think it's probable? It's likely not. But the reason I'm saying this is because I don't have a clue who I want to pick. I don't have a clue who I think is going to win this match, because at the end of the day, Punk wins, Cody wins. We're going to go home tomorrow and still eat a bowl of chili.
Yeah, but if Punk wins, it'd be better if Drew returns.
Either one of them. But look, here's the thing.
Think about
if Drew interferes,
Here's
the thing. Here's the thing that I'm stuck on. If Drew interferes, who wins the match? Does he attack Punk? Does he attack Cody? But he's probably gonna attack both. It's who he attacks first, not who he attacks first. Who the referee sees him attack first. So because I know what C. Dave is picking, or who C. Dave is picking, I'm gonna go with the best in the world, CM Punk. When Punk is champion, more butts are in seats than Cody is champion. Not that Cody doesn't sell a lot. It's just stats are stats. Punk was brought to SmackDown because the USA execs were scared that the ratings were going down. The ratings were bad with Cody as champion. Why would you give it back to Cody? Not bad. Lower. I don't wanna be negative. Lower. CM Punk becomes champion. Ratings have risen. Let's keep it on the rise. Let's keep that momentum. I'm gonna hand it off to you, CJ.
I'd love to see CM Punk one. I like the title on CM Punk.
Oh yeah.
However, I have to think about what they're going to do in the future and what looks the best. To me, I believe this WrestleMania is your last chance to cash in Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns trilogy. This WrestleMania, I believe the time's kind of ticking on them too. And for them both to put on such a stellar match that we've seen in the past. One of the best WrestleMania matches ever.
One of the best matches ever.
Yeah, matches ever.
If not the.
The trilogy could be that much more exciting. And you could say, oh, well, it could just be for Roman's belt, right? I mean, we could just have it for Roman's belt. But that's not really the belt of the company, is it? We've always seen this big WWE WE symbol across one of their waists for a very long time. And the only way that can happen is if one of them have the belt, and currently neither of them do. So, this is going to be a long build-up for that WrestleMania. But I'm calling it now. They're going to have a trilogy with Reigns and Cody. Because they need to do something big. Because, to me, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or nothing, but there's not been a lot of excitement around WWE other than Danhausen. And that's crazy to say. He's probably been the most entertainment that I've watched in the past few premium live events. Cody Rhodes is going to beat CM Punk. And then we're going to get to the next match with Roman Reigns. And I'm going to tell you specifically about what I think is going to happen there. And then we're going to have a trilogy. It only makes sense with this title. That's the only way you can have it. It does not work with the World Heavyweight Championship. It only works with this one. My prediction for the first night's main event, night 1 of the 2026 SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Gotta put it like that because that's how you hype it up. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
We move on to Sunday night. We're going straight off the card. WWE has provided on WWE.com whether it's the match order or not. It usually is not. They normally put the biggest matches last, the not as big matches first. We go to Danhausen versus Dominik Mysterio to open up Sunday night. And am I tripping, or did they say this was a Human Money's on the Pole match?
I think that was a joke, Tanner.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought. I didn't get to finish Raw. We're filming this the day after Raw. I've been so busy.
This is no stipulation at all.
Yeah, no,
It's
it doesn't say
regular-
I believe this is a
Regular
match.
one-on-one.
And if that was the case, if the Human Money's on a Pole match was the thing, I would lean towards a different one. I believe this is your prediction to start off with, C. Dave, and I know who I'm going to go with just off the basis of statistic. But I'm gonna hand it off to you. See who you got.
Well, I just got out my mouth that Danhausen has been the most entertaining thing WWE has seen, that we have seen for the past couple months. I mean, it's just, I don't know the stats for it, but to me, that's just what it's been, you know. Saying that, though, this is a no stipulation match, which means there is nothing other than cursing Dirty Dom. That's the only thing he can do, right? And then they pull something out the bag, like the fire coming out the post and whatever for Dom. But because this is just a fair one-on-one, I don't know if I go with Danhausen. Even though I just got out of my mouth blazing him a little bit. This is Dirty Dom we're talking about. And I know this is probably like a Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn match that we could have right here. Where Danhausen beats Dirty Dom. It wouldn't do nothing for Dirty Dom because he's on AAA anyways. So, for me, I have a gut feeling. Because he beat JD McDonough, I think Dom's got a little bit inside of him to get back at Danhausen. He's going to use it. So my prediction for this match is going to be Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Booyaka. There's a lot of story in this match.
No, I'm disagreeing because they're gonna try to get. You can't have. Look, the Judgment Day is not gonna. The only person that can really interfere is JD. We just saw Raquel beat Sol Ruca for the IC title. They're gonna all be tied up. They probably are gonna try to interfere in Liv's match in some way or fashion. So all the women are already tied up for Saturday night. They're not gonna show up again on Sunday. Only person that can realistically interfere now is JD McDonough. But when you have the power of about 15 mini-Housens at your disposal that you can beat up on JD McDonough, they're all going to swarm him like killer bees and take out JD McDonough. With the distraction causing from, you got to think, this is maybe the opening, second, or third match, early match. You're not going to get nothing fancy. The finish is going to be something funky, funny, just to have something on SummerSlam. Not as serious. It may be the bathroom break for some people. I don't know. I hate to call it that. But you know, if you're like, I need to see technical wrestling, that's not going to be what this match is. To keep the undefeated streak alive, my prediction is going to be at SummerSlam Hausen, Night 2 Hausen, and Minneapolis Hausen, Minnesota Hausen. My prediction Hausen is Danhausen. This is one I'm also just a little on the fence about it.
I was surefire about this.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too. I'm gonna go through it why I think why it is. I can't just say something and not explain it. So Undisputed WWE Championship #1 contention on the line between Sami Zayn, who we mentioned earlier, lost the title, never got the rematch he deserved, lost it in 8 days, versus a man who beat 3 other men in the main event of SmackDown, not the go-home show, SmackDown beforehand, and Finn Bálor. He went through Damian Priest, Royce Keys, and who was the 4th guy?
I can't think. It wasn't LA Knight, was it?
They wouldn't have Royce Keys and LA Knight.
Jacob? No. It wasn't.
Usually they explain stuff on them. Doesn't matter. Which you go. So Finn Bálor beats 3 other men, and ends up, which I stated, I was watching SmackDown with Mama D, and I said, Mama D, you know what? Out of all these guys, who would have the best match with Sami Zayn? Because Adam Pearce already said, Sami Zayn, you're going to SummerSlam, you're facing the winner of the main event of SmackDown.
Makes sense, he lost the time.
Right. And so they have an extra match put on the card because it's 2 nights. So Mama D, you know who's going to have the best match with Sami Zayn? Out of all 4 of these guys, Finn Bálor. You know what happens? Finn Bálor ends up winning the match. Match it was, and you see Royce Keys, you're like, oh, brother's not gonna win. Royce Keys ain't gonna win. He's already got a match for SummerSlam. He's already out. Damian Priest, I don't even know who the 4th guy is. It don't even matter. So Finn Bálor ends up winning. Yeah, put it in the comments below. We can't think right now. It's late. Finn Bálor ends up winning. He's going against Sami Zayn, and the prediction is not because I'm confident in who's winning necessarily. I'm confident of what's gonna happen down the line, and because the whole story with Saudi Mania coming in April is that Sami Zayn's going to eventually win the Royal Rumble. He doesn't necessarily have to win the Royal Rumble to main event Saudi Mania, but it just so happens that that needs to happen. Winning the Royal Rumble, that's the story right now. Go into Saudi Mania and winning the championship live in front of his hometown. His hometown. I'm just joking. It was a joke. And so, for that reason alone, why would Sami Zayn have another chance and then keep going back, ping-ponging back and forth? No. Sami Zayn's got to climb. Miley Cyrus said it best. Sami Zayn's got to climb. So for that reason, I'm going to give the win to a man who's going to put a banger match between either CM Punk or Cody Rhodes, which may also mess up the prediction I had. Regardless, my prediction is Finn Bálor.
I was so surefire about this one. I saw this one. Tanner was telling me to put my predictions in earlier, and I was like, yes, I know who's going to win this one. I was hyped about him. He was my Royal Rumble prediction for this year, if you go back, and he wasn't even in it. But this is a guy, you want to talk about who has another shot at a title? He never got his shot at another world title. When he lost it due to injury, he never got that fair shot back, and they're trying to give it back to him. So this is how it's going to be. Yeah, but this is how it's going to be. Right? Tanner's right, who's going to win this one. And I'm going to agree with him. But I was surefire and confident about it that this man's going to win it. However, I still like my prediction for CM Punk and Cody Rhodes about the build up to WrestleMania, but this does not lose that. Right? Finn Bálor could win, Finn Bálor could lose, he could drop it. He doesn't have to win it at all. Regardless, my prediction for this match is going to be Finn Bálor.
United States Championship. We got robbed.
What you talking?
Whoop that Trick Williams taking on the surprising return, Baron Corbin.
It wasn't
If you know,
surprising
Corbin
to us.
versus-
We knew it was happening.
What, the match or
No,
the
the
return?
return.
Oh, you knew it was happening?
Girl, we talked about this.
Who said he was? Oh, but that was when he signed.
Yeah,
That's not about him, right? Whatever.
it's same difference.
Um,
Come on. He's so...
yeah, we got robbed in Mello and Trick.
We did.
But I'm gonna give it to you. Go ahead.
Am I first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Easy. This is going to be a real quick one because I'm just going to whoop it and give it to you. It don't make sense for Baron Corbin to come back and just win something, right? You're still telling us that we got robbed of something. They're obviously saving Trick and Mello for something somewhere bigger. Wherever that happens, it could be Mania. It could be somewhere before Mania. Who knows? They could do a Saturday night's main event and headline that and be the main event. Who knows what will happen, but we're still getting it somewhere down the line. And it only makes sense if Trick Willie has it. This match is for Baron Corbin to build his way back into the WWE. That's why they're putting him in this title match, so that he can build a little bit more credibility and keep running up the ranks, so that he can do something better and bigger for this company. But it's not going to be with Trick Willie. Trick Willie's going to stop him in his tracks. He's going to put that whooping on him, and Baron Corbin's going to take a trick shot straight to the face. The winner of this match is going to be Trick Williams.
We haven't seen Lil Yachty in a hot minute, right? I can't even remember. Because I watched SmackDown on Friday, and I don't remember seeing Lil Yachty.
No, Lil Yachty wasn't there.
Did he get beat up by Brian
Garcia?
I didn't even see the SmackDown.
Brian Garcia.
I'm gonna tell you, I've been lukewarm on this lately. I just can't. I mean, work's been crazy. It's hard for me to keep up. But I'm agree with C. Dave. I think we're gonna have whoop that trick. Not because it's just. Here's the thing. You beat a guy like Baron Corbin, already a decorated vet. You can have a great match with Baron Corbin because he's known as one of the safest guys ever in the ring. But wouldn't it be cool, the kind of stuff you would see? Let's say here it is. When the finish starts, I'm envisioning it right now, and I'm about to say it exactly how it's going to happen. You're going to have maybe a trick shot, maybe some move or trick is running into Baron Corbin, but it's going to be reversed into Baron Corbin in the days. What's going to happen is Trick's going to roll close to the ropes, and Baron Corbin's going to go for the finish, go for the pin, but we're going to see Lil Yachty come out from under the ring and return, interfere to put Trick's foot on the rope so that the referee sees it. The distraction from Lil Yachty is going to cost Baron Corbin. Trick Williams ends up retaining the United States Championship because it's just such a bigger name as Baron Corbin within the WWE, a decorated name like that, and you have him lose clean just off of the hot return. Mello could interfere as well. We could see a Mello return. But that right there, I just said the beginning of that finish. And y'all look for it. Y'all look for it on SummerSlam. I'm very confident. I just had an epiphany right there. It's like I had time went into the future. Whoop that Trick. Prediction and still U.S. champion Trick Williams. This is also an easy one.
Yeah.
This one's it.
I'm so excited for this match.
This is a top. I was gonna put a number on it. It's hard because there's 17 matches through the second. This is the top storyline, match. The history and the storyline, the long-term booking within this match. Intercontinental Championship on the line. The current champion, El Zero Miedo Penta versus Chad Gable. And is it that difficult? When you debut Penta in the WWE, you go against Chad Gable. You beat Chad Gable, who is disrespectful to luchadors who try to reveal your identity, who becomes El Grande Americano and learns the dark arts of Lucha Libre and goes on this 2-year terror, destroying everybody in his path as he could, trying to take out all the luchadors and become the greatest luchador of all time. Has a banger match of the year candidate versus El Grande Americano for a mask versus mask match in AAA, and you don't reward that? The 2 years this has been building up to, and you don't reward that? This is going to be a top match. I mean, Chad Gable, fantastic in ring. Penta, fantastic in ring. These styles are meant to clash with one another. That's why Chad Gable's been in AAA as long as he has. And in your hometown at that. The winner and your new Intercontinental Champion is going to be none other than Chad Gable.
There's not much to say here. I just think it's funny that Penta won it before Chad Gable could.
I mean, it's whatever worked. It's whatever the storyline goes. You gotta it's like Nick Aldis. You were like, or Gunther or Nick Aldis. It was kind of thrown together, but storyline work.
This one works. I'm so excited for this match. I think this has the opportunity and the potential to be the best match of the entire event. And I'm just not saying. I'm saying that based on already watching the two El Grande Americanas go at each other. And this ain't no Cero Miedo. Chad Gable don't have fear. Chad Gable, we've been climbing the ranks, and he is right now so over, in my opinion. He's got to win this thing. The story's there, Chad Gable's there, his family's gonna be there in his hometown. The winner of this match and your new Men's Intercontinental Champion, Chad Gable.
So we've got 2 matches left. 2 matches left on the card. A very, what I thought was one of the best booking decisions that WWE has had in a long time. I thought this was a fantastic way after Rhea was unfortunately forced to vacate and relinquish the Women's Championship due to an injury that they really wanted to fix. It was a meniscus or something within the knee, ACL, MCL, BBL, who even knows?
Not Bailey.
Oh, speaking of Bailey.
Oh, sorry.
But with a spectacular way to put this interim women's championship on the line and a ladder match, which we don't see often, but the timing is the issue here because in 2 months you got Money in the Bank, right? So the match booking is great. Does it lose the Money in the Bank? Kind of.
Well, no, because you don't have to put those people in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, but you could most definitely. Who you got? It's your turn, C. Dave. But I do want to mention the superstars before we get into your prediction. Your U.S. champion, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, and the winner of this Friday SmackDown's match between Julia and Lash Legend. Now, Nia Jax was also screwed out about 3 of these matches and not been able to get into it. Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill both interfered in each of the matches. That's how they got into here because of disqualification on each other. I think that sets it up fine. And Chelsea Green beat whoever Tiffany Stratton beat. Chelsea Green beat Kiana James. Tiffany Stratton, off the top of my head, don't even know. So go into it. Who you got?
I'm glad Tanner set that up for me because that's where my prediction was going.
Mm-hmm.
You take a look at where this women's championship has been. And it was in good hands for a little bit until an injury, but it has to continue to be in good hands, right? Jade Cargill, not really.
You're not talking about Javon Evans?
You know, I'm not really going with
Javon
that.
Evans.
I wouldn't vibe with that. You know, Tiffany Stratton had it.
No, Tiffany. I like Tiffany.
She was alright.
Jade Cargill never defended the title. That was the issue.
This is what's going to happen. We're going to bring Flair back to the championship. And the queen is going to get her throne back and some gold around her waist. We're going to bring her back into this prestige. And we're going to set up what you said. Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair. They interfered on each other's matches. They put a little bit of sprinkled Nia Jax in there somewhere. You know, it's just like a big, bad and an ugly person. You know what I'm saying? But you set it up best. Flair, Jade Cargill, that's probably going to be who's going to be in this title picture for a little bit. Doesn't that sound great? Hashtag C Dave can cook in the comments below, but one of them has to win. And Jade, unfortunately, you just didn't have that many title reigns. It just didn't look good on your waist. So I'm giving it to none other than Charlotte Flair. Woo! Let me get that Ric Flair one. Got that Ric Flair drip.
First off, man, while you were talking, before I had another epiphany.
Oh.
I just went into the future and just had, this is going to be like a bloodline, like a WrestleMania 40, everybody interferes match. Because the reason, you're talking about Charlotte and Jade being the 2 women that go on after this and feud. Charlotte, in my eyes, may never win a women's championship again. Ooh, she is probably never going to win a women's championship again. And if she does win one, it's going to be only one. In my eyes, Charlotte doesn't need to win a women's championship ever again. She really can't compete at the highest level in the ring like she used to because of her injury. I mean, you can watch her in her matches. That's why she's been in tag team matches. It's been hard on her. So, what do we got here? We're going to take it piece by piece. And this is the second to last match. So I can spend a little time on this. I think the main event is a pretty easy one for me, just the way I've watched this build up, and I know I watch the show and know wrestling. And then I say that I don't watch the show throughout this whole thing. But we're gonna take it piece by piece. We're gonna go competitor by competitor. I'm gonna try to chop it real quick. But we got Jade Cargill, we got Charlotte Flair. Those 2 women were able to get into this match because of each other by disqualification. Disqualifying each other in their own respective matches. They're going to end up taking each other out. Neither woman's going to end up winning this women's championship. But what you're also going to see is, here's the question though. Here's the question I have. The baddies may interfere. Here's the thing I see. This is the vision I had. The baddies interfering and helping Jade, but then we have the return of Alexa Bliss. However, Alexa Bliss's arm was like snapped in half, so I don't know if she's on vacation or what's happening. What if she comes back as the Sister Abigail gimmick or whatever, evil woman, to try to take it down everybody? I don't think that's likely. Regardless, we're going to have, if the baddies interfere, it's a ladder match, you got all these women, Alexa Bliss comes back. Okay, that's neither here nor there. What we've got, though, is this Friday on SmackDown, we've got Julia versus Lash Legend. I'm going to go ahead and predict it. If you would have told me before this match, I would have told you Julia. That's what the internet's going towards. They want Julia to be like how Stephanie Vaquer was when she walked in and won the world title. And how she was in NXT when she was just given the world title as soon as she walked into NXT. Julia needs to build that prestige up. I mean, she needs to build that credibility up. She needs to build that up within the WWE. Not that she's not done it within wrestling. Needs to be within the WWE, however. She hasn't really done that much on the main roster. You win the US title, sure. You've got to win some matches before you just put a women's championship around your waist. So that leaves the other one, which I believe is going to be the fifth competitor, and that's going to be Lash Legend, our homegirl Emery Howard, the wife of Wolf That Trick Williams, alumnus from our university. The reason with that being is, as I mentioned before I tagged you in to give your prediction, is Nia Jax was robbed of her opportunity because of disqualification.
She's gonna be
with Lash Legend winning. However, you gonna have Nia Jax come out and help Lash Legend become champion? No! Nia Jax ain't like that. What you're gonna see is a heel turn. You're going to see Nia Jax turn on this girl because she just gets given the opportunity and Nia Jax couldn't get another run at it. This is why there's 5 women in here, by the way, and not 6 like we see in a traditional ladder match. That's going to cost her. And so we come down to 2 women. We come down to our U.S. champion in Tiffany Stratton. We come down to Chelsea Green, who both of these women have kind of had this frenemy turn into like friendship, like, hey, homegirl, we're both Barbie girls. We both got fake Tetons. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the kind of thing they're vibing over. And Chelsea Green was like, oh, that U.S. title, you know, it didn't look good on me, but now I think it looks good on you now because I want the women's championship. You know, just kind of those throws back and forth. And are we going to see Tiffy 2 belts? Are we really going to see Tiffy 2 belts in the United States Championship? What you're going to see is this going to come down to these 2 women. After all those people have taken each other out, it's going to come down to these 2 women. And you're going to see Tiffany Stratton climb that ladder like she thinks she did at Money in the Bank when she won. And you're going to see Chelsea Green. We've seen her funny. We've seen her. It's time that we see the Chelsea Green, though. This is the time. They have been waiting. Michael P.S. Hayes has pitched this for years. That Chelsea Green has it just as good as any woman in that locker room. This is the time for Chelsea Green to win the Women's Championship. Have her first main roster world title. And go on a tear. A freaking heel run that we haven't seen in the women's division in a long time. And regardless, her Secret Harvest, does that return?
Yeah, they still here?
No. Piper Niven may not ever wrestle again. And,
She did.
her neck was like broken or something. I don't know. She had surgery. She may not ever wrestle again. And then, Alba Fire, I believe is fired. Yeah, Alba Fire fired.
So she ain't got no.
Yeah, I think she got fired at the recent budget cuts, or maybe the one before that. This is the time. Ladies and gentlemen, after that yap session, I'm going to give it to the one and only Chelsea Green. What a freaking prediction that was, by the way. I just called that whole match just right there. But finally, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the last part of the video after over an hour of recording, probably not wanting to hear our voice for this long, but because there's 1,700 matches on the card, you gotta eat. You know what they say, through rain, snow, and sleet, you gotta eat.
Used to work at 5 Below, and I got 5.
You know what? You know what I should say? Go ahead and pick that up at the top right. Just go ahead and take it. You got a promo. You gotta. I keep complaining. I'm not really complaining, but I keep talking about work consumption. That's what I work on, ladies and gentlemen. Go up there, go to the top corner, go ahead and subscribe if you want to know why we don't post videos on the regular live stream. Because of that right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the history of it all to end off SummerSlam Sunday. Night 2 in Minneapolis, which we'll probably be on an airplane for. Hopefully not. Maybe.
There's a very good likelihood.
World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Your current champion, the OTC 1 Original Tribal Chief with the Oofalafa, Roman Reigns versus the Visionary, the Revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. Now, when this match was announced, my gut told me instinctively the winner of this match is going to be Seth freaking Rollins. But gosh, has this build-up proved me wrong otherwise. Oh my gosh. You see the build-up. You see Seth Rollins. So we open up. We get this contract signing, and Seth Rollins is beating up on Roman Reigns. Puts Roman through the table. Roman's all this and that. Roman really doesn't have all this shine. And then we get throughout. Roman kind of pulls a punch here and there. You're making Seth look strong during this whole match or this whole build-up. What really set it off? What really set it was Madison Square Garden Saturday night's main event when you had what many people think was the atrocity of calling Jalen Brunson the guy in New York now, which is true, and WWE was trying to profit off of all that, of the Knicks winning the NBA Finals. I didn't see an issue in that because you know why? I saw my guy Tyrese Halliburton. There was I mean that's my guy. You know that what I'm saying? That's just my guy. And he's teamed up with Seth Rollins. He's always viewed as a heel, even though he really is the face of the end. Like if there was a baby face for the NBA, it would be Tyrese Halliburton. And that's just funny how it plays out. But we see that, and we see Seth Rollins come in and do all this, and I was just like, man, Roman isn't really getting the upper hand. He's kind of getting beat up, and then finally Roman looks strong. After all this build-up, Roman finally gets his moment where he's just knocking and it's just, he spears, Superman punch, all the above to Seth Rollins. I'm like, finally showing us the winner right there. After Seth Rollins has been beating him down week after week with a little bit of shine from Roman Reigns. It's not that he's been dominating. It's just Seth has really been on top of this build-up segments throughout the month. And it's like, oh my gosh, that has given me my answer completely. But before I give my prediction, let's just go into just a little bit of history between these guys. And I will say WWE has done a fantastic job with the video packages week by week, showcasing the history between the two. They debuted together on the main roster. It was Seth Rollins that took out the group formerly known as the Shield and broke that up, with Roman Reigns ended up being the big, not necessarily just the favorite child of the bunch, and getting pushed to shreds, while Seth Rollins organically got put in the opportunity to thrive. The booking was right, it wasn't forced, and he looked better. He costed Roman the championship match at WrestleMania 31 after winning Money in the Bank. After the last few years of the Shield kind of just. They hate each other, but Roman's still in the spotlight. Seth was kind of always building up to the spotlight. Seth finally gets the moment, the greatest cash in all time, WrestleMania 31, wins the triple threat between Roman and Brock. Then we move on a couple years later, Roman ends up getting the title, and then we get Money in the Bank 2016. Now both the guys had matches here and there, but never for the championship right on. And so we get to the first really true championship match, because the WrestleMania cash-in counts as a championship match. But the first really true one-on-one singles championship match came at Money in the Bank in 2016 when Roman walked in as champion and Seth Rollins walked out as champion. And then, both the guys, Roman kind of had his title reign. Seth Rollins gets his title reign. Roman Reigns ends up coming down. His leukemia comes back. Then the Shield kind of brings off. They kind of get this special moment. Dean Ambrose is on the tail end of leaving WWE. So they put the Shield together just one last time to kind of bring it all together. Because Roman, and yeah, you see this special moment. And so since then, since before quarantine, COVID, we were like, oh, everything's okay, they're cool now. And then when Roman comes back after remission and returns to start the run as the Tribal Chief, which is the greatest run of this decade, no doubt about it, carries the company on his back for 4 years. In 2022, they have their second one-on-one championship match at the Royal Rumble, where Seth Rollins is playing mind games, comes out all in the Shield uniform. And we're going to come back to that Shield uniform here in a second. For the Universal Championship at the time, which was the blue title, which was turned blue by the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And the reason Roman Reigns ends up losing, keeping the championship, losing the match, and we're going to get why here in a second, was because of disqualification, as Roman would rather get the spot to put the chair in the back of Seth Rollins, gets distracted, emotions get the better of him, even the original Tribal Chief gets emotional sometimes. He ends up nailing Seth Rollins in the back. The Bloodline helping Roman win, as he always does, and Seth Rollins ended up winning by disqualification, but by that means, Roman Reigns keeping the championship. As I remember being a spectacular match that year. I remember it being a great match. But we moved to, a few years later, WrestleMania 40, which would have been in 2024, so that would have been 2 years later, if I'm not mistaken, right? WrestleMania 40, 30 was 14, 40 and 24, and we see what is going down as the greatest of our era, the greatest match ever in our era, the greatest match of the decade. Greatest match of the decade. Thus far, many people consider the greatest match of all time. Some people consider just the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Some people don't even have it in their top WrestleMania matches of all time. I think those people don't know what wrestling is. Sorry, no mean throw shade. But I mentioned the Shield uniform. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 40, their second match. And Cody Rhodes ends up winning after multiple run-ins from multiple people. But Seth Rollins really being one of the true benefactors in Cody winning that championship.
Showed up tag match the night before.
Right. Tag match the night before with the Roman and The Rock, but that's neither here nor there. It's Seth with that Shield uniform that runs into the ring with the steel chair that distracts Roman Reigns and causes Cody Rhodes to grab Roman and win that championship, ending the Tribal Chief's 4-year run, and has evidently not done much for Seth. I mean, he's gone. He's won his championship, sure. He ends up having to drop it after winning the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time. He lost to Drew, who then Damian Priest cashed in at WrestleMania 40. So that was already there. He was double dipping, wasn't he? Yeah, he was double dipping too. He had the tag match and then against Drew. And then he wins it again, ends up getting injured, and then has another fantastic cash in at last year's SummerSlam. Oh, fantastic. Then losing the championship again. Roman Reigns ends up picking this World Heavyweight Championship up. The World Heavyweight Championship that Seth Rollins has freaking built up from the ground up to compete with Roman Reigns during his Tribal Chief run, which many people were like, oh, how do you put those championships on the same level? Seth Rollins has done that. And Roman's is only continuing that legacy. But ladies and gentlemen, with all the history in mind, because this is the main event, I had to spend a little time on these matches. I always do for the last couple of matches. They're just the most important. All that history in mind, it all culminates. Well, it probably doesn't culminate. We'll probably get about 4 more out of these before these guys retire. To Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at the Night 2 SummerSlam, Minneapolis 2026 main event, where your winner and still the original Tribal Chief Roman Reigns leaves Minneapolis with the World Heavyweight Championship. Whatever happens next, happens next. But see, Dave, after all that rambling, we're going to kick it off to you for the last words, the last match, and the main event of the last night of SummerSlam.
I didn't think you'd ever stop talking. Oh my God, I didn't think that ever stopped.
Look, the fans that know, they know. I mean, that's like podcast, man.
Tanner said it right. How do you put those 2 championships on the same tier? The answer to that, you can't. That's why I told you earlier in the prediction video, you cannot have that trilogy at WrestleMania for this title. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to disagree with Tanner what he said early on in this prediction about how Roman just looked weaker and he didn't look like... I think Roman looked a lot stronger than Seth in these builds.
Oh, you haven't watched the show
I
yet.
think he has. I'm going to disagree with Tanner because it's been very back and forth, but the way Roman's promos have been worded have been very verbally assaulting. And you can tell.
getting beat up is different from getting annihilated with words.
You don't watch the show.
Was Seth put through a table?
Well, you don't watch the show, Paul. No, it wasn't. Well, no, it wasn't.
Exactly.
Everything overall, up until this past, if we cut that out, I think Seth has looked far weak. But I have a question. This is what I need to get to. This is what I need to get to. Where does the vision go in all this? Are we done with that story, or is that going to come back and haunt Seth Rollins?
Eventually, probably.
Yes, exactly.
But
And this is where I'm getting to this.
It won't be.
This is where I'm getting to this. We still have the vision in the mix. Do they come in and try to start stuff with Seth Rollins? No, I don't believe that at all. But there is somebody in the darkness that we are forgetting. Let me say my prediction real quick. I think Seth Rollins is going to win this match. And I think Roman Reigns is going to go chase the other title. Because, like you said, I don't think you can put those two on the same level based off how they've been built up. In my mind, you can't. Hashtag see if you could. Think with me here. The Vision's going to attack. Not right now. But somewhere along the line, we are going to get Vision and Seth Rollins. Right? Wouldn't it be great if Seth Rollins had a title strapped around him with that? Because then you understand that, hey, this feels like something important. This feels like we need to watch this. That the Vision is relevant. Because right now, all you're messing with is Maxine Dupree and Otis and Austin Theory. That's all the Vision have right now. But you know who's going to return? Tanner's Goat. Bronson Reed is looking for a return. And I think it might just happen at SummerSlam.
That's so horrible.
My prediction and new World Heavyweight Champion to end off SummerSlam with fireworks going in the air is going to be Seth freaking Rollins. You can take a bow. Take a bow.
Having both titles change hands in the main event does not sound likely.
But you gotta think, they're all coupled together.
Also,
Their stories are all intermingled and you could do so much with it.
Listen, what you're forgetting. King of the Ring, still on the table. When you look at Femi, do you see a marquee match with Roman Reigns? Or do you see a marquee match with Seth Rollins? Which match? No. Don't look at it through a very, very clear lens. When you look at those two people and you look at Femi, which one on paper is the match that is going to sell more tickets?
For comparing him with Brock Lesnar, it's going to be Roman Reigns. But that's not to say that Seth Rollins hasn't had very
That's
good
not to
matches
say Seth
again.
Rollins can't have a good match with Femi. No, not at all. But when you look at the two guys and you look at the King of the Ring, it's Roman and Oba.
But who says Roman has to go? I mean, Oba has to go for the heavyweight belt.
Because he's on Raw and they're not going to take him off Raw. He's just not. They're just not going to take him off. SmackDown's lineup is already CM Punk, Cody, Gunther, Sami Zayn. You're going to have Drew McIntyre return.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. That's the. You know, anytime you disagree with me, I can always drop you a peg to poke holes in your theory. But Bronson Reed, as much as I'd love to see Bronson Reed, and especially him as World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, well, I'm not saying he was going to win World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, no, he's definitely going to win.
I didn't say that.
He would definitely shoot. Bronson Reed is better than Roman and Seth. Oh my God! Bronson Reed would be a better champion than anyone on this card.
Bronson Reed's over him.
Yeah, that would be that would literally main event Saudi Mania. Saudi Mania main event right now. Bronson Reed and Femi for the John Cena Classic Championship.
I just want to say one thing. I've been thinking about it this whole video. Triple H is way too emotional for the job that he has. I'm just going to say that.
Why are you throwing shade?
That is not shade. I just think he does too much. Because if you look at who he brings up, it's all people that he's freaking groomed and like
who?
Like situated perfectly.
Like who?
Be so for real. Femi in the dang.
Femi wasn't
Yeah, you're right. Triple H. But still,
NXT.
It's just all goonerish stuff.
Oh, what do you mean? Femi's the next big thing.
He's good. I'm not dissing on Femi.
Ray Charles, a blind
I'm
man.
just saying.
Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could see that Femi is going to be world champion.
I'm just saying, putting Io Sky up there too. I mean, that's just all because they're all Triple H's people.
No, the Vision pick is also bad because, like, what do you do with the tag team titles? You're not losing them to Otis and Kurosawa. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting too late.
Maybe we're getting too hysterical.
No, you're getting too hysterical. I have been cynical and cognitive this entire video. Ladies and gentlemen, regardless who's listening, because there's not many people that are gonna make it this far anyways. So even the rambling session that we just had between now and the last main event match, not many people are gonna hear it anyways. You know, I'm calling it. I'm gonna call it, and I hate to speak it into existence, but look, if we get over 32 views on this video right here, if we get over 32 views, I'll go eat food the next day.
I was gonna do that regardless.
Yeah, I was gonna do it regardless. But we're gonna call it. It's been long. So we're gonna end like we do everything. See, Dave, what we got? What we putting in the comments? What we putting in?
You're going to have to put scooter ankle injury in the comments if you made it this far.
So, Tony Hawk, sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you like, hope you share. Go ahead and subscribe. Like the video, please, for my sanity. I've been editing videos, not for this, for so long. I'm going insane. I gotta edit this video. Hope you have a safe, fantastic, and amazing rest of your day. As always, my name is Tanner Davis, alongside my co-host, one half of Double D's, my twin bros, C Dave. We will catch you in the next prediction video whenever you see us live stream. Short, goodbye.